Okay, great. Okay. So, how do you contribute to white supremacy?
Contribute to white
Might have to
supremacy?
talk louder, but
Okay.
I don't know if I contribute to white supremacy. I think I'm against it, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, although I guess the white supremacy thing is like a concept or a reality that I've become aware of, right, over the years. So I try not to contribute to it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. What's something you can do on a day-to-day basis to be anti-racist?
Something I can do to be anti-racist on a day-to-day basis. I guess just be aware and present, and I don't know. I mean, come on in here too if you hear. So they
Go
were
for it,
asking,
yeah.
what do you do? What is something you can do on a day-to-day basis to be anti-racist?
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, just be aware of what's going on and stand up when needed. Like, just educate others. Education to me.
A lot. I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
A white woman in Minnesota growing up, even though I have tons of loved ones that are black, I still have my implicit bias and
yeah.
still like to sit and listen and learn from especially what people of color say, so that I can learn to be a better ally.
And we have mixed children, and I'm mixed, but I'm also white. So, and to black people I'm white, but to white people I'm not. So it's always been interesting to be of mixed nationality, but educating ourselves. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I do a lot of reading, and the more you read, the more you realize how ingrained the biases are in our country, and so it's tough sometimes, but I think it's really important for most white people to be doing at this point in time.
Yeah.
Just kind of listening and raising people of color's voices and trying to, support them, but it doesn't need to be my voice. I need to be lifting others' voices too.
What are some books that you would recommend?
So book-wise, I haven't read a lot of books, but I do read a lot of articles and stuff online. I know there's a lot of good ones out there. I just don't have a lot of time to read books. But of course, White Fragility is the one I always hear.
Yeah.
But I've heard recently some less good things. Not that it's bad, but that there's many other better options out there. So I need to read more.
I think keeping up with an organization, there's a few organizations here, CAIR, it's CAIIR or CAI, and I wish I knew the name of it, Coalition of something, but just look it up because they're definitely related to this event today. I'm a supporter of it. Families supporting families against police brutality, or some families supporting families against police brutality. Toshira Gara Allen, I think that's her name, Toshira Garraway Allen. She's one of the founders. She was here. Justin Tagan is the name of her son's father, her fiance, who was murdered. And so I think I've learned a lot by kind of following their lead. So throwing that out there too.
Yeah, I follow like Chantel and Nakima Levy-Pounds and
Chantel Allen.
Nakima, and I love Chantel too, but Nakima I love so much because she really challenges me. She doesn't sugarcoat things, and she really has made me have a lot of moments where I realize my bias in the way I thought in the past about certain things and whatnot. So, yeah.
Great. We have a couple more.
Yeah, we do. Why do you think it's so hard for white people to talk about racism?
I don't find it hard to talk about it. Maybe it's because, my son's black. I have lots of black friends. I know that a lot of older white people, maybe, or less urban, I guess. A lot of people out in the country, they don't have a lot of exposure, and they don't want to, I know there are a lot of people that might feel like they're going to say something wrong, or course, all the racists out there.
I see it, and
wanna hide it, maybe.
sorry, because you say you don't see it. I feel like, okay, so in the early 2000s is when I met Chantel Allen. Not met her, but like we were tight. She's the one that taught me a lot about just the reality of black people. And I remember the first day she was like, "You didn't know there were still lynchings down south?" And I like started crying. This was in early 2000. I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, they don't talk about that stuff. They don't talk about that stuff on the news." So that's the first time when it realized, like, okay, slavery just ended 50 years ago. That's not that long ago, right? I mean, it's been 20 some years since, but that was when I first started becoming open to, not becoming open. I thought I was well-rounded. I thought I was this and that, not in the dark, but I was in the dark. So I started to learn bits and pieces along the way. And even more recently, I've been very open and active. And then like about a year ago, I finally concluded, oh, I get it. Black Lives Matter. Like I used to say Black Lives Matter, but I would follow it by All Lives Matter. But we say that all lives, until Black Lives Matter, until Native Lives Matter, until Asian Lives Matter, until brown folks matter, all lives don't matter, because we know that unfortunately the history, And so what I was going to say about white people is that I think it has to do with ignorance. And ignorance is not, people see ignorance as a negative thing. We're all ignorant to what we don't know. And I will admit to my ignorance. So I think that for my white family, most of them are ignorant. No offense to my loved ones, right? But they really don't get it. And unless it affects them, and unless it affects them directly, like if you don't have homies and friends and family that are affected by it, and you're not in it, you're ignorant, because you have no clue. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that most people are like, oh, things have gotten better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, but you're not in their shoes. You're not dying on the streets. You're not scared every time you pass a police officer.
Yeah.
And